Lesson 2.5 covers adding and subtracting like denominators. So the first problem that we have here, or actually our key concept, is to add or subtract like fractions, add or subtract the numerators, and write the result over the denominator. So you can see that this has a common denominator. We are adding, so we go ahead and we add the numerators to get 4, and our denominator stays the same. Again, like denominators, subtracting, go ahead and subtract your numerators. 7 take away 3, giving us 4. Denominator stays the same at 8. 4/8 reduced to 1/2. Personally, I think it's easiest to go ahead and just make it all over the denominator. We see that both of them are like, so this is all over 16. I see I have a positive 3 plus a negative 15. So I'm going to say plus negative 15. And I can write it this way because my denominator is already the same. And I would get negative 12 over 16. Go ahead and reduce. I know that it's divisible by 4, my numerator and denominator, and I get a negative 3/4 as my answer. Example 2, again, like denominator of 9. So I'm going to go ahead and make this all over 9. Steal my numerator. 2 plus, here we have negative 8. Go ahead and do our computation here. 2 plus negative 8 is going to give us negative 6 all over 9. This is not reduced, so we'll go ahead and reduce again. And we know that both numerator and denominator are divisible by 3, giving us negative 2/3 as our answer. Next problem here, we're going to go ahead and subtract like fractions. No sweat here again because we still have the like denominators. So I'm going to go ahead and put my denominator down of 10. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take this here is really a negative 7. So I'll write negative 7. This says minus 9. So I have negative 7 minus 9 as my numerator. Go ahead and do the computation there. We get negative 16 all over your denominator, that like denominator of 10. Next, go ahead and reduce the fraction. Well, we know it's both divisible by 2. So I'll divide them both by 2, and we have negative 8/5 as our answer. I don't care if you write it as negative 8/5 or if you convert to the mixed number of negative 1 and 3/5. Either answer is acceptable. Just says that you need to make sure that you write it in simplest form. So I would take either one. Both of those are simplified and reduced, so they both be possible answers. If the textbook does say to put it as a mixed number, then we would need that as an answer. Other than that, just make sure it's simplified. Example 2 here for subtract like fractions. Why don't you go ahead and pause the video here and work through it yourself and then check back in. Alright, now that we're back, the first thing that you should have done is write that like denominator of 8. Put in negative 7 minus 5. We get negative 12 over 8. And this would be able to be reduced, dividing by 4 here. And we get negative 3/2 or negative 1 1/2. Adding positive mixed numbers. To add positive mixed numbers, I think it's best and easiest if we go ahead and convert these into improper fractions. It'll help when we get into subtraction. So I think it's easiest just go ahead, convert these mixed numbers into improper fractions. We know that we do this by multiplying and adding, and we work around the clock just like so. So we take 2 times 8, giving us 16. 16 plus 5 is giving us 21/8. Plus, again, multiply, add 6 plus, or 8 times 6 is 48 plus 1, giving us 49/8. We see that we have that common denominator of 8. So we'll go ahead and do our computation here. 21 plus 49 is going to give us 70/8. Not done here. We can go ahead and reduce this problem. Go ahead, divide numerator and denominator by 2. we have 35/4, or again you can write this as that mixed number, and to do so 35/4 would convert to, well, 4 goes into 35/8 times, giving us a remainder of 3, and denominator stays 4. Either one of these would be acceptable for this answer. So as mentioned, again, probably easiest to go ahead and convert these to improper. Why don't you pause the video and convert both of these fractions to improper fractions. After doing so, we wind up with 33/10 plus 41/10. Adding, denominator is alike, so we'll keep the denominator of 10. Numerator, 33 plus 41 is going to give us 74. On this problem again, we're able to reduce. Both numerator and denominator are even, so we know we can divide both by 2. And we would have 37/5. 37/5 would work as an answer, or again we could convert, and if you converted you would wind up with 7 2/5. Either answer is acceptable. Next example, mixed numbers with different signs. This is why we went ahead and converted, because when it's different signs, for instance 64 1/5 is positive and negative, 53 4/5 is negative. It's easiest if you go ahead and convert to improper fractions, so that's why I'm just getting the habit of taking every mixed number and converting it into improper when we're adding and subtracting. It'll just save you so much more pain in the end. So we're going to go ahead and convert these 64 1/5, and we take 5 times 64 plus the 1, we get 321 over 5. We are going to add. Well, we know that this is a negative, so we are going to add the negative. And again, pretend the negative's not over there. Multiply, add, so we have 53 times 5 plus 4 is going to give me 269, and this is over 5. If I want to rewrite it, we know that we have the common denominator of 5. Your numerator basically is saying 321 plus negative 269. So we'll do our computation at the top there. We get 52/5. And again, right here it says write the mixed number as an improper fraction. That was just the step that we took there. Now 52/5 would work. It doesn't say anything about converting into a mixed number. So 52/5 would work, or if you did convert, you'd wind up with 10 2/5. Either answer would be acceptable. Last example here, I want you to go ahead, numbers with different signs here, very comparable to the one we just did before. Go ahead, work through it here, so pause the video, check back in, and we'll see how we did. After our converting into improper fractions, we have 65/8 plus negative 53/8. Common denominator here is the 8. Now we're going to go ahead and take 65 plus a negative 53. After our computation, we wind up with 12, so we have 12/8. Now this problem, you actually couldn't leave it like that because this can be reduced. We know both 12 and 8 are both divisible by 4. So when we divide it by 4, we wind up 3/2. 3/2 would be acceptable, or we could have the 1 and 1/2. This will conclude 2-5 adding and subtracting like fractions.